Hey everyone. Thank you for clicking on this video. We're going to be painting some goblins, mostly doing some hair color, doing some highlights, some shading. That's pretty much what we're going to focus on. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minis that we're going to try to finish within the next couple hours. And yeah, I'll show you them in a second. I gotta do the ritual of doing all the streaming setup stuff after I go live, as you should be familiar with by this point in the series. Let's see. Click, 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 click. Scroll, scroll, scroll. How is everyone's Saturday going? Coming along? Last night I watched Friday the 13th #1. What a hoot. I had such a hoot. Johnny Balls, Sylvester. It's best Saturday, I know it is, because you're here streaming on Twitch and YouTube. If you want to get in the chats, feel free on YouTube to subscribe to the channel. If you want to get in the chats on Twitch, feel free to follow. Alright, so you might notice that the camera today is not focusing at the minis, but instead at another camera. And that is because, if I switch, this cable likes to get in the way of my lens, and I'm trying to fix this problem. Econ, how you doing? So I figured rather than delay the stream and fix it off camera, I might as well just fix it on camera. And then we'll get to the painting. So it's just a little clamp that holds my HDMI adapter to go into the camera. And I think I just need to flip it around. So I'm just going to do that, and that's how we're going to start the stream today. I should put in the title, Goblins, Painting, Lighting, and Camera Adjustments. I'm such a fool. Also, goblins is spelled incorrectly. There we go. We stand stream my maintenance. Now let's show you the big shot. Ka-da-boom! Yeah, so the camera has a tiny HDMI port out, while all the cable work is full HDMI. And rather than have something always plug and unplug into the camera, which can wear out the HDMI port in the camera, which you don't want that because it's going to get expensive to fix or replace the camera, you just have a small cable that you permanently always have on your camera, and you just keep swapping out ports on that cable. So I had it like this. Yeah, small rig. Had it like this. I want to go the other way. Could do it this way? Yeah. That makes more sense. Welcome to the D&D painting show, where we fix cameras instead of paint minis. Classic, classic. There we go. There. So the cable lens clamp holds down that cable. So now the cable is encouraged to go to the side rather to in front of the lens. Perfect. That's fixed. Now we can actually get on with the show. So excited to start the show now. Alright. My brain is not working. Side view. There we go. I'm thirsty and I was about to drink my paint water. That's loud. There we go. So, the goblins. I got a handful of them. So this morning I already took my little tiny brush and I've been trying to do some touch-ups with the green. Just clean up all that Slop Town stuff. For example, you can see on here, his thumb and his fingers are a little too brown. And we want to make sure he's touched up and clean. There we go. Yeah. Let's get the skeleton bone, because I can touch up some of the bone stuff. It's super important to do before I start adding washes, shading, and lighting. You still drink the green veggie juice? Not that often. I was drinking it more when I was working out, because it's a great way to get a lot of calories in one sitting. But I haven't been working out a whole ton lately. A little QC right there. Get this guy's toes. Cool. It's just simple things that, like, only you, the painter, notice. A lot of work is going to go into making sure their purple clothes look right, because the wash dried in a way that some of the white didn't get stained by the purple, which does not help. Ryan, what's up? What did I just do? This brush is so big, it just knocked. There we go. Not that bad. Arjun? Did I say that right? Arjun? Glitchhead? Bravo. Sometimes my head's down for so long that I don't know what's going on. Alright, so getting these touch-ups. That's all clean. That actually should get painted white, so I'll paint that. Alright. Is everyone having a good Saturday? It's Saturday morning for me. Cool. This guy's good too. What's up, Show Me? Doing some QCing right now on some of the colors before getting deep into the washes and seeing what needs the most work. This guy's face needs work. There we go. How's this hooded person? Just chill. Cool. Okay, so I think there's a few white spots I wanted to get. And then we're going to have this dry a little bit, so that way I can do a white highlight pass on everything. This splotch would be fine. So, let's see, who was it? This guy's good. Saw someone. Yeah, perfect. Someone to outline their sleeve. Right? No, no need. Oh, man. Gotta put purple on him too. Who was I looking at that needed purple? I was crazy. Okay, get that off. Let's get a purple wash so I can patch some of the purple staining. And I'm not using my little, like, my auto camera, auto frame. I'm doing this out of frame. You guys should let me know. because how rude. So I'm not using my holder right now because I'm swapping through so many just looking at the details that it would actually just slow me down to use that. There we go. Trying to make sure this brush is clean. Cool. And so the first time you stain the white with a purple wash to become purple cloth, it can dry in a way that the purple doesn't completely cover all the necessary spots. So this is a sample of what I would consider my finished goblin. And he looks really good. But there are a few spots, they're very subtle, that the wash did not get. That will bug me for the rest of my life. There we go. That focus. There we go. He's good. You can go back to the ready spot. Swordplay, do I have a system for storing all my minis? The more minis I print, the more I realize I need space. Yeah, so I don't have a system yet. I got my new Husky working bench cabinet to help store a lot of the books, the paints, and stuff like that. Which is great. It gets a lot of my D&D stuff off my desk. But now the minis are just covering the top of it, and the minis are pouring over here. So I did order a plastic filing cabinet storage with the transparent shelves. It's usually black frame, but because our walls are white and we have a lighter tone of furniture, there was one that was tinted white. So I'm going to get that. I'm going to store the minis in there and see how that works. If it doesn't work well, I'll just return it. Saturday evening over there with Bravo. It's quite nice weather. Just had some pizza. What kind of pizza did you have, Bravo? Yeah, I do have a carrying case. A foam carrying case, though. Of this. Which has a bunch of goblins in them. Where are my Reaper ones? My Reaper goblins all go in here. And since they're flexible and super tiny, I can toss them in here, no problem. 3 of them go in there, great. And then 2 spears go in there. So I got my Raider goblins in here. Let's see if I swap the camera. That's better. So you can see that. And so these goblins are all going to get their own slots. And that's one solution for my goblins. But that's not the best solution for everything. I don't think so yet. Now that's a name I haven't heard in years. Oh, thank you. Haven't watched your content in a while. It's good to be back. Hey James, thank you for coming by, man. Like, you got a lot of content. And more coming. Alright, so we can see... James, this is a place where we want to relax, where we want to chill. You know? It might not be invigorating, might not be exciting to a degree, but it sure is relaxing, and I know a lot of people need that. So you see that, like, on the ankle, there's a few white splotches that the purple didn't stain correctly. So I need to patch that before moving forward. It's not that bad. There are spots. Great. Tell you what, if we get done sooner than expected with these guys, what I'll do is I'll pull out some paperwork and we can do some DM prepping. I don't know how I missed that spot for the brown. There's a little white spot. Fire ice. How you doing? Alright, bye. Chilling before my shift. It's like having someone to talk to me. It's very relaxing. Oh, that's good. I would consider this person to be patched. This person's fine. There's some purple that's needed. Super subtle. Cool. Good. I do everyone. Okay. Yep, cool. Alright, everyone's pretty much ready for highlighting. Now for highlighting, use a little clamp. wish I had something to put my hand on. I do not. Jesus. Just to raise my hand to the lens better. Okay. So we want to get as much of the paint off the brush as possible. Johnny Boz, you hopping between platforms on me? Okay, there we go. So you don't have to use white on this. You can use a specific color, such as a lighter brown for the browns, lighter green for the greens, which I have. But you can also just use white, and it does the job. Those toes. You just don't want to overdo it, which I learned over the last few days, that it is super easy to overdo it. And what the doing the white highlight's going to do, it's really going to make the line work on the mini pop. Any of the textures. Get under there. That coat of snow. There we go. So, you can really see the details of the model pop a bit. Expert Red Sentry, how you doing? And then we got the Goblin Feet. Johnny Boz complimenting me on my content output. Dude, it is wild. Trying to stream 3 days a week is intense. But I got a lot of minis I want to paint. And I want to share my minis. As a whole, for the Goblin Army, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 are completely done. We're going to be working on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 today. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 left. So we got the white highlight on him. And let's just bust through some white highlight across the board. Where's my hand go? There's my hand. It goes right here for focus. Alright. You can start seeing that brown belt on a brown shirt. Just go in there and get it. There we go. That was something when I started painting. I was like, oh, I can't have a brown belt on a brown shirt because I can't see it. It won't be distinguished. So I'd put the extra effort in painting that separately. When now I know I just have to do a good highlight pass. And it'll pop. And it'll be good enough. Getting those toesies. Gotta frost those toesies up. So we have a lot of brown on brown layers going on right there. That means that's going to need highlight to stand out. Now you can kind of see that line work a lot better. Get that muscle. Those arm muscles. Those fingies. So the big thing is, because the hood is very low detailed, there's a couple waves of fabric. So I need to make sure I catch that so the next coat really brings that out. Next coat of purple, I should say. And then get in there. Get those highlights on his face. Little grumpy goblin face. Too much, but I just want to get these arrows. There we go. I'm gonna use my finger. There we go. Frosted. Does not need to be the greatest thing because it's all going to be hidden in shading. It just needs to make sure that line work pops. And can be appreciated. I want to tilt the camera. Seems to be where my hand rests. Too much white. You can see his face a lot better. His little bald head. Little ears. And you basically go against the grain of the lines. That's how you don't get it to pop. Because you don't want the white to sink into the crevices. That's where all the shading's going to be. Get some on those legs. See how you can kind of make out the legs right here? But I do some highlighting. Just go back and forth a bit. And the pants stand out a little bit more. Those goblin feet. There we go. Some highlight on the bone up here. And this guy will be ready to go. Cool. So let's jump back to that first guy that we worked on. So you guys can actually see some overall progress happen Mike, you did make it. Evan, nice to see you here. Yeah, so some people like to do highlighting after shading. That's how I learned originally. What I've come to actually really enjoy is you put a highlight coat on first, and then you use the wash and the shading after the fact, and it really bakes in the lighting on the color that is with the shading. It kind of just blends it a bit better. Let's see, where's my green shader? So we'll start with purple. So we got purple, we got green. We need, is it soft? No, strong. Strong brown. And then we do need soft for the bone. And then we'll touch his hair after the fact. So first thing, let's just do the bone. So we get some soft brown. Some, the purple one, it is sealed. There we go. Alright, now we're gonna put some purple wash on the purple spots. And this is, since this is technically a second coat for the purple, it's really going to get darker in the shaded spots, the shaded spots. Go down the seam of that shirt. Hold it too. You guys can see even better. Wristbands. Kobe, are you painting right now? Are you painting too? purple is much darker, but if I can get my focus right, the purple is much darker, but you get to see a lot more details because of that highlight pass. Heads up, this stream might become a cooking stream soon. Because I am getting hungry. Alright, so let's cover up the back here. You can just instantly see how that highlight helped. Hard to see because it's still wet and glossy, but the white highlight is being stained to that brown. Makbahan. I'm happy with that. If I have to do a second pass, so be it. I'm happy with that. And let's put some shading on that green scan. Start with that face. Come on, focus. What I have noticed is that green does require a couple passes of shading when you do the white highlight. The white is just strong enough to pop through the green. Not really concerned about the hair, so this one's going to get painted over. And that hand. Little greenie. Little green goblin guy. Yeah, Kobe, I have a whole set of skeletons waiting for me to start. This is pretty good, actually. I'm really happy with this guy. I'm not doing my goblin's eyes across the board. Eyes are very hard to do right. I don't think adding eyes makes the mini any better most of the time. I think if it's a mini that I'm going super all out on, I'm gonna go for the eyes. If it's a mini that's just one of many and it's gotta get done, it's not getting eyes. There we go. And let's tackle that hair. So we got the little mohawk. So essentially we cover the whole hairpiece with red. And we do the basic process of highlighting it and shading it. The difference is the highlight's going to be this lava orange rather than white. And the shading is going to be with a red wash. And normally I will say you should try to make sure every color's got like a companion piece on the mini. So he's got red hair. What else can be on him that can be red? Normally I say that. I don't for the red hair, because once all the minis are down, you're going to see the hair. And you're going to be like, okay, it pops as a collective piece. Thank you, Tad. Alright, so while the hair dries, because that's really what we're going to be working on, let's jump over to the hooded archer and do all that shading that we did. So we can see all the white highlight really help the mini's line stand out, like I was saying. Let's start with that purple again. Gives it more of a magical feel to the hair. It does. If you want to see how it looks like dry, this is kind of the effect. What is the real color of goblins? Green, but the art in D&D manual makes it look different. They could be anything, honestly. Hobgoblins are depicted to be more orange or red. The goblins in D&D current module, or the current version, are depicted to be more orange skin toned, like people. But since they're a fantasy creature, it really doesn't matter. If you look at older depictions of goblins, like Token, they're kind of dark green. And the point of that is goblins' origin in a lot of those stories is that they're corrupted. They're evil, so their skin is green, like the wicked witch of the west kind of thing. So that's where kind of the green came from. It's even doubled down in Spider-Man, which is why I'm doing the purple and the green, is because of the Spider-Man Green Goblin. Green Goblin came after, in Spider-Man, came after Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin's costume, Hobgoblin was a mercenary working for Oscorp, and the costume got stained and corrupted by the green toxics that corrupted Harry Osborn. And he put on the Green Goblin costume after that. And Green Goblin, because of his insanity, the corruption, really, that is the Green Goblin. That is a goblin. An evil, wicked, chaotic person and creature and character. Now, does that mean all, when it comes to D&D, when you're world building, does that mean all goblins are wicked and evil? Probably not. But you can start with that, because it all depends. Nothing is subjective. Sorry, nothing is objective. You as the DM can't go, well, the goblins could be good guys, you guys don't know. But if they attack me, they're not good to me. It's also the common society perspective. If the players are part of this common society in D&D, right, whatever your kingdom is, whatever, then what is their perspective on goblin culture? Are goblins considered evil in their culture? If so, your goblins should depict more evil, because that's the perspective from that culture that your players' characters are mostly from. Then after, a year of campaigning, you can slowly warp it around and be like, well, you learn that the goblins are actually good people. They're just misunderstood. They're just wildlings. They're free folk. They do what they want, and your culture doesn't like that, or your culture's religion doesn't like their religion, which their religion could be more based off of X, Y, and Z. I know that goblins' god in D&D is more of a war god. So goblins, the fury of goblins, come from the culture that is their god, rather than being a genetic trait. I also do like the idea that green goblins and green orcs are more of like not in the mountains, and the more they're in the mountains, they're gray. Gray stuff. Okay. Fine. And usually if my orcs are in the mountains, like deep in the underground, I'll depict them maybe not as green. I'll use the same minis because I'm not a crazy person. But yeah, I might say that they're a little less green because they're in the mountains. And which makes sense. Skin tone comes from geography. In real life, the darker your skin, that usually points to genetically your ancestry coming closer to the equator. Because your skin can produce more melanin to protect from direct sunlight. That's science. So thinking that way, it's like, okay, the colors change kind of based off terrain. And that's what those colors are. You could have a purple goblin. You can have a red goblin, a blue goblin. It's whatever you want. But if you are concerned about, like, what color are they really, it could be different depending on terrain. Putting the brown on the wood. Show me. Green is a sick color. That usually means the character has been infected by something or made it sick from evil. Which is kind of where the origin of the green goblin concept is from. You know what also helps is if I'm painting in focus. Same thing with kind of skeletons. I like skeletons more than I like zombies. Skeletons kind of get that spooky vibe rather than that horror vibe. And I have two sets of skeletons I'm trying to make. One with a lack of armor, which are just basic skeletons. And the other one is skeletons with armor. And those are a challenge to fight. A goblin in the desert. What color do you think? Well, let's stick to what I was normally doing, right? So green goblins are more outdoors in a plains and forest. Underground in the mountains, they're going to be more desaturated and head towards gray. And then the desert, because if the desert changes their color, right, that means so would the tundra. And it would go the opposite direction. So I would say, if they were to change colors, they would become more orange. More like what you would think is the Hobgoblin from Spider-Man. Which then is an interesting thing, is if green goblins are in the woods, gray goblins in the mountains, orange goblins in the desert, that means their skin, for survival purposes, are adapting to their environment like camouflage. If you're choosing those colors. Tundra, you could do a little bit of blue, like a blue wash, but I'd say they should stay gray. Because there's not, in the tundra, yes, you'll be out in the daylight, but just like someone as pale as me it's hard for me to walk outside in California for over an hour without sunscreen, because I'll get burned. But I can stay outside for 6 hours if I'm in the UK or Norway or Germany. Because the UV rays are going in a different direction. And they're being scattered differently. So you could just have gray up in the tundra too. Or they can just all be green. Or they could all be brown or whatever you want them to be. You can limit your imagination to reduce critical thinking. Or you can expand your imagination and unlock a lot of doors. And you know what? Your desert goblins could actually be called, they prefer to call themselves hobgoblins. Because they see themselves differently, culturally. Okay. This guy's pretty much done. Some shading in the base, which is just fun. It's unnecessary, but it's fun. Out of the frame. Yeah, because mechanically in D&D, goblins and hobgoblins are technically different. Hobgoblins are supposed to be tougher. As a DM, I don't really care about it. So I looked at the mechanics and the abilities among the two. And my goblins are kind of somewhere in the middle, really. Like a sword goblin is what a normal goblin would be. But there are cool abilities that the hobgoblins have that I think goblins in general should have. I'll bring one up because I thought it was really cool. So hobgoblins have a... Let's see, hobgoblin captain, warlord. Or is it just goblins that have this? Can't remember. Goblin boss, goblin commander. Let's see. I don't know where I saw it, but I know I saved it, so I'm just going to bring up my saved file. Primer. Scroll down to Goblin Lore. Here we go. Goblins, under Carmichael Lore. Small, furious green goblins are very social and prideful characters. They are careful not to show weakness in front of their allies for fear of losing status and respect. If they miss an attack roll or fail an ability check or saving throw, they gain a bonus equal to the number of allies within 30 feet, max +5, until a short rest. They're furious small creatures that deal extra damage, 1d4, to larger creatures. They're super nimble and can disengage or hide as a bonus action. Dark vision, 120 feet, but disadvantage in direct sunlight. So this is definitely not the normal goblin, right? Normal goblins don't get their social bonus around allies, but I think it's really cool. It makes goblins feel more group focused. Furious small creatures that deal an extra 1d damage to larger creatures, which I think is cool. Super nimble, and give them disengage and hide for bonus actions. So like they're naturally roguish. And then I gave them that advanced dark vision because I like the idea that goblins are more nocturnal than daylight or day creatures. And then on top of that, I also have my NPC classes. So my skirmishers, my swords guys, like this guy, can deal sneak attack damage if coordinating with an ally correctly, you know? My archers can deal Hunter's Mark without casting magic. And it's just really, they're archers, you know? They can focus their attack on a single creature. There's another sample of my... Oh, pikemen. I got pike guard. So the pikemen can... they have the polearm... They have part of the polearm feat. So my NPCs that are pikemen, like this guy, has got a pikeman. Has a pike, spear, or polearm, whatever you want to call it. They deal opportunity of attack when you enter their space. So we're going to highlight his hair right now. Super subtle work. Barely can see it on camera. Red wash on the hair. Careful. And boom. This guy is fabulous. some more green on his face, though. Just some... There we go. Patchwork. There we go. It's pretty good to me. You see on the back, the white didn't get tinted enough. Just another pass of brown will do the job. And it'll be good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 finished goblins on my goblin army. That's a fourth of it? Yeah, a fourth of the army. Oh boy. So we got this pike guard, and let's bust out that purple. Stay in focus. There we go. Oh, sorry, I was checking the Discord. You know, the Fables Discord that's linked down below. Got a little distracted. Some good conversations in there. A+ Discord plug. Thank you. I think I just spent, over the last week, almost $200 of Patreon money on minis. I got a lot of minis to paint, got a lot of minis to collect. Thankfully there's Patreon. I of course I spent some money on that, on my personal money, but it'd be a far bigger hit without a lot of people watching, supporting the channel on patreon.com/fablesd20. Currently what I'm hunting for right now is scattered terrain. Once I finish doing this wood, I'll show you some sneak peeks and I can continue that conversation. There we go. Sick. Spread this out. So, for example, for tropical stuff, these are two separate packs, but painted together, they'll look fine. Some tropical trees and stuff for the islands. Nothing, not like a permanent map piece, but scatter terrain allows a lot of customization and just fill in the imagination. For example, I have these pieces for underwater terrain, which I painted. And those can get laid out differently every battle, and they add so much to the battlefield. Like, oh, there's cover here, there's something here, there's something there. I just ordered. Do I save it under Google? No. I type it in like a fool. Oh my god. Well, I gotta fix that. Happened live on camera. Fix that right now. Let's see, orders. So I ordered, oh, it's supposed to arrive today, that's cool. Forest tree trunks and logs. They're probably not high resolution, but that's some forest scatter terrain. I also did buy some like cedar trees, like pine trees. I don't know if they're going to be used in the terrain as much as maybe around the terrain for the camera angle. Well, thank you, Mike Morgan. Let's see, if I go to Etsy. Heart that, because it opened up on something that's really cool. If I go to my cart, I have reef stones, so like scattered rock terrain, but surrounded by water. So it's just like what a reef would be, right? D&D terrain rocks, so boulders and rocks. And I saved a lot under my Etsy account. I haven't bought them because it just adds up so much. Click on my account. Here we go. D&D terrain. Rocks, ice shards, ruins, canyon rocks, stalactites, waterfall, burnt trees, stuff that's just... Thank you for the compliment about my underwater terrain, Enrique. My brain does not read names fast or well. I'm really sorry about that. I've fallen in love with scatter terrain because what's the alternative, right? You either have just a basic grid with nothing, or you're just quickly drawing stuff, or you custom make you custom make this massive map that you're only going to use once. Like, that's like saying, oh, these goblin armies that I'm spending all these hours on are only going to be used once. It doesn't make sense to me. So scatter terrain is mwah. Let's see, it's a public list of terrain. Maybe I can share it. It should work. Yeah, that's my terrain list. Things that I'm eyeballing. You can just... Things I'm eyeballing and things I've already purchased are on this list. And I'm not taking the things I've already purchased off the list because there's just so much inspiration in battlefields and terrains that you can do. Those are way cooler trees too. Way cooler than the ones I just bought. But I need the ones I just bought sooner. Like these trees I'm about to post. Yeah, glowing smoke markers. Oh, the list is so good. And you don't need a lot, right? And you can reuse your scatter terrain, you can rearrange them differently for constant different battles, and your players get familiar with the terrain. And we're underwater. You place the underwater terrain, and your players are like, they're in it. And it wasn't that a lot of work. It's just prep work for the little scattered terrain. Alright, so we gotta fix this because I bumped it and it fell and the pike fell off. It's really sad. You get to watch a repair segment. So what I need is this one. There we go. Mounts on that. That's upsetting that it's falling off. There we go. Right? Trees with removable canopies. Those are the trees I want. This guy just fell. There we go. This is going to be the right move. Question is, can I get these to align? There we go. Dude, what is this? Science? That's the wrong way. Super close. Okay. Super glue. He's right off camera. There he is. There we go. Fixing that pike. Yeah, that D&D terrain is really nice. The Rocky Canyon ones is pretty nice. The Clorehaven Ancient Ruins. Just rocks. Rocks are nice. There's the Desolation Trees, which I think are interesting. Good for like swamp or destroyed lands. But man, that Clorehaven scatter terrain for trees. God, that looks good. If I was to get a whole set at 28 millimeters, $71. That's a lot. That's a lot for trees. How many trees are in a whole set? In a whole set. More about the item. Says each tree comes with one trunk and several canopies. Tree number 1, tree number 2, tree number 3, 4, and 5. So there are 5 trees. Yeah, so a whole set at 28 millimeter means 5 trees at that mini scale. That's insane. You're watching Glue Dry right now. Crystals in the rune mines are perfect. Oh yeah. Oh, if I go to my cart, I think there's a few that aren't in that list. There's let's see, D&D scattered terrain mines. I'm just adding a couple more. I haven't really added any like interior scattered terrain. I think that comes from like avoiding combat in interiors. Oh dude, the hiding bushes. If you're in the D&D terrain list on Etsy right now, refresh it. And you'll see the hiding bushes. we go. I had a few saved in a different list. Making sure I put them in the right place. Got some fences. Some pillars. Some good stuff. Oh, I found these last night. Which are arcane circles to put them on the ground. And then I found a few dead body ones, which is super cool. Yeah. Scatter terrain. That's where it's at. You know, you put them in your box of goodies, you go to your friends and play D&D, or because of the pandemic, you know, you can't, but you can hook up a webcam to your Discord, you can hook up a webcam to your Google Call, or whatever you want to do. Even if it's just your phone, set it to video stream and mount it on a phone mountable, like, boom arm, kind of like what I almost ruined that mini again. Kind of like what you see here in my camera feed. It's just a mic boom arm. It's like something for lamps. Get a little phone mount to go on there. And hook up your phone and you stream to your friends over Discord the scatter terrain map. It's going to make the world a difference. It's kind of what we did for a big chunk of Fables of Refuge while we were streaming from our homes because the pandemic. You know, we just like, we still wanted the battle map. We just don't play with scatter terrain a lot, and I want to start investing a lot of Patreon money into scatter terrain and minis, so that way our maps are more interesting. Not just more interesting to look at or watch, but more interesting to play on. Okay, this little guy can go dry somewhere else right now, because I got minis to paint. So, as you can tell, off camera, this guy doesn't have many highlights on him. And you can kind of just right now see the difference of what you've been watching and seeing versus what this guy is. Let's put a companion next to him. You really can see the difference. You can, on his back, you can kind of see that leather work that you're going to see on his torso. Even better. So let's do that highlight pass, everyone. Where'd my white go? My white. I find it interesting that major D&D mini companies, like, you have Dwarven Forge, right? Where it's very much an ecosystem. Once you start getting Dwarven Forge, that's kind of what you're going to be working with. Because you're going to want your dungeons to match, you're going to want your forests to match. But if you go on Etsy, and you actually just find independent 3D printer creators and buy a set of scattered terrain. A scattered terrain is so much more flexible than Hero Forge, Dwarven Forge. Would I want Dwarven Forge? Would I like? I don't know. I don't think I would want it because that requires a lot of storage. Because you want to prepare for so many encounters. In Dwarven Forge, you can't just like, oh, hey, Calvin. Dwarven Forge, you can't just like plop onto the table, you know? You kind of have to have that stuff planned out. So you're building towns at that point because it's like, what if this, what if that, what if that? Where if you have scattered terrain, something happens, you just pull out the scattered terrain, place them where it generally makes sense or makes things difficult, and you just go. Get back to playing. Because the whole point for terrain, as much as people want to say the whatever reason that they get scattered normal terrain, is the point of it is to give cover, to make difficult terrain, which means slowing down players, and abusing their resources, but also giving them the ability to use hidden tools that are in their character sheets. Hello. Okay, this guy's highlighted. It's got that frosty snow look. Like, I don't need more than one underwater scatter terrain, you know? I have underwater, so I just plop and move them around. If I want to put ruins underwater, it's different. Hey, thanks, Mike Morgan, for hanging out. If you gotta go, you gotta go. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for spending time with me and everyone in the chat. A little too much paint on the brush. It's alright. A few layers of shading will fix that right up. See, I can't tell if I've taken a lot of white off the brush anymore. we go. Frosted with highlight. Last highlight of the day. It's all downhill from here. Everyone in the chat doing all right? I know I can kind of go silent for a bit when I'm working on these. Just want to check in on all of you, making sure you're having a good time. Making sure you're all good on your end. Doing some stretching. Okay. Standing this entire time. Whew. Alright. So, let's put some shading on this fella. Start with purple. It's pretty repetitive because I'm building the whole set, and I'm trying to make sure there's just continuity across all of them. But what's great about that is that repetitiveness really bakes in a method and a style, and you can catch mistakes that your method and style produce. It's kind of like redoing the same piece over and over, and then you notice, like, oh, I've been doing it wrong this entire time. I could be doing it better this way. So there is a practical sense to repetition. How tired do your eyes get after a painting session? Dude, it's different depending on the day. If I'm painting in the middle of the night, my eyes get exhausted. If I'm painting in the morning like I am now, well, now it's noon, but started in the morning, it's not that bad. It also, how much sun is coming through the window, if I'm wearing my glasses versus not. There's a lot that adds to it. Yesterday my eyes got super strained, and I did a little bit of painting, and usually what fixes that right up is some water and going for a walk. Not water drinking, but like splash on your face. Helps a lot. But eye strain is legit. I think the worst is when I paint in the middle of my editing sessions. So like I have my paints ready to go to be productive, and if my editing for rendering and stuff start to chug, I let the computer breathe and I turn to my paints and I work on a part of my painting. And that switching back and forth, whew, that does a lot. That hurts me. But it's so productive. This guy's face is going to need a second pass because I put too much white on it. Those goblin toes. Okay. The green is pretty good. There are times when I promise myself that I'll finish a piece before it'll be my screen. wait for the night, and then I go longer than expected. My eyes and head are throbbing. Yeah, I've definitely hit that wall once or twice. That's why I kind of cap these streams at like 2 to 3 hours. So when I started painting, I would just go and go and go until the mini is done. Not healthy. I did that entirely out of focus. So he still needs to get his hair done. And you do another pass of green on his face. And then we got 2 more. And then we gotta finish the guy who broke. Glue will be probably dry by then. I'm starving. So sit back, I'm gonna go heat up some food and I'll be right back. Behind the magic bookshelf I go. do want to share this with you guys. A couple friends from Paris sent this. This is where the camera is. So it is French for chestnut. Chestnut jam. Delicious. Ooh, my foods. Sorry about that, everyone. I gotta get better at making sure I eat food before the stream. These early morning streams really mess up. Early morning, they're at 10 a.m. Really mess up my eating schedule, so it throws me off. I just gotta get better at it. But yeah, chestnut jam. As in, like, the tree, chestnut. It's pretty delicious. Okay. Food's too hot. This guy's dried up. Let's see. Yeah, let's put a second coat of brown on the leather armor. And this dot. There we go. There we go. And then let's get that second green on his face. There we go. Looks good to me. Ooh, I missed a spot of brown. There we go. I'm just seeing spots as I say I'm done. I just see spots where I'm like, oh, I could patch that. Cool. Let's get his hair up and going. Thought I heard my cat doing something weird. Yes, he's a redhead. That updo he's got is going very in this summer. I know. It's like everyone likes an updo. I have to change my hairstyle. Everyone's going to need to shave off the sides and backs. Because it's getting so hot. And as someone who doesn't have air conditioning, it is hot. That dry for a hot second. I think my cat is trying to get my attention. He just woke up from a nap. Alright. Breakfast at noon. G Party 8, any tips for choosing the right colors for each character? Well, I have a few ideas on that. First, what inspires you the most, you know? With goblins. When I think of goblins, I think of Green Goblin from Spider-Man. It's just what I grew up with. So that's why we get the purple and the green going. With hero characters, you know, there's a weird sense of like, what does my player want their character to be? But if you're just going for default colors, you could assign each ability score to a color. So strengths are red, so barbarians and fighters. Charisma is yellow. Intelligence is purple. Wisdom or intelligence is blue, while wisdom is purple. Stealth could be green. You know, stuff like that. You could do that. And that could help guide you a lot. For example, I really like having colored ringed bases. Like, I gotta patch this brown up to make sure it reads as green more. Because colored bases really help me see my mini from afar. How's the crew doing? Well, mukbang. Getting that food ASMR. Sorry. Yeah, so the crew at Corridor, they're doing great. I work nearly every day on something at Corridor right now. Mostly Son of a Dungeon. Just QCing and overlooking and then editing. Making sure the VFX team are doing what they need to do, staying on track. Working side by side with Sam creatively is a lot of work. Yeah, just getting Son of a Dungeon. Yeah, G Party. So if you assign colors to ability score, especially for NPCs, you're then shorthanding information to your players, right? So they see if a player starts to realize what you're doing with your colors, and they see you put a yellow down, they go, ooh, charisma. That's totally fair for them to have that metagame information because you're enabling it. Okay, I think that's dry. Let's get that red tone. Now my red wash really dyes down the brightness of the red fiery hair. It really does. So I might, before putting my varnish on it, is do one more highlight pass on the hair. Because I really don't like how dark it gets afterwards, but I also like how the creases are dark. Let me show you an example of dried hair. Same hairstyle. It gets pretty dark once that dries. Which is nice, but I think I want to put that orange back on it. Allie, Laura, Carter, and Jarrett. And me too! Jarrett and Jess, they're doing great. Carter is doing great. Laura's doing great. Allie's got some heavy stuff that she's trying to manage through, and I'm trying to help her through that. I'm doing great. I'm not going to get into Allie's heavy. That's her heavy. Yeah. It's really scheduling that's slowing down, you know, the refuge shoot. We had to deal with the heavy, and now the heavy is cooled down. We've scheduled the next game for Fables of Refuge, but we've also scheduled a new game. A not refuge game, which you guys will see soon. Chestnut. You're gonna have to wait and see, Mixmaster Mike. You're gonna have to wait and see what happens. But I have been taking the opportunity, as you can tell from these videos and streams, during the time off of playing the game, is to paint the minis that we need painted for Fables of Refuge. Let's see. We got a lot of sailors I gotta get through. And they all have guns, which is 50-50 on, because gunpowder is a thing, not a thing is a thing to consider when playing D&D. So we had to go get more sailors, but with no guns. And those guns are mostly going to probably represent non-gun firearms, so like crossbows and stuff. I think Tuesday/Monday. I'll probably do some more sailors. I will let her know. Mixmaster Mike, thank you very much. There we go. The statue? The statue turned out great. She's currently super glued to the ship. And, yeah, right now the ship is just getting a varnish pass, pretty much. One layer at a time. So probably right after the stream, I'm going to go outside and do a varnish pass on the upper deck. Yeah, pretty much oh, I do still have to do the mermaids on the back. I'll bring out the primer and prime that while I'm out there. But yeah, the ship's at a point where I'm not going to show any more progress on stream. You guys are just going to have to wait for the reveal on Fables of Refuge to see the whole thing. Some food in me, it feels so good. Alright, I'm gonna put this goblin away. Pretty much ready for varnish. And we got this little guy. I definitely need to order more soft tone and green tone wash. Enrique, it was nice having you here. I hope you had a relaxing time. And yes, I will be enjoying my meal. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Looking pretty good. I plan to add color and details to the face. Not at the moment, because I have 24 goblins to get through, and I think I just want to get them all to a point where I'm generally happy across the board with colors, highlights, and shading. And once that's all done, if I feel like, oh, let's go back and do some details on the face, then yeah. But not right now. Right now, it's just get the whole thing done. There's so many. I'm not selling them actually. No, I've been wanting to build a goblin army for a long time. So these are going to be my personal goblins. I do think in the near future, though, I'm going to be sorry. Ooh. In the near future, I'm going to do giveaways of minis that I paint on the channel to patrons. I think I'm going to start doing that too, because I got a bunch of minis that I think are great minis that need painting, but I don't think I'll ever use them. If I was selling minis, I'd probably go, 200% on everything. I hear my cat's fiddling with something. Yeah, buddy? Wanna come over here? Mister? Yeah. going? Yeah? I know. Gonna take a nap in my arms? Is that what's going on? Huh? Yeah. Think I can do this while you're napping on me? Like just out of frame thing. There we go. My big boy. I hear you purring. Yeah? Do I have to give you my fullest attention? No distractions whatsoever. Is that so? Good to get the Tabaxi's permission. I'm doing a purple clan because when I think of goblins, I think of Green Goblin from Spider-Man. Alright, buddy, you're getting heavy for one arm. Yeah. I'm not allowed to put you down? No? Oh, mister. That's so? Yeah? What's up? Love you, buddy. I need both my arms. Yeah, so it's just a full-on purple clan. I think total I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 archers, 6 polemen, 6 swordsmen, 3 axe, and I have 1 king, and I have 3 casters. So this is a Goblin King. If I can get him in the frame. Those rich people colors, right? You know, I thought about color coding all my minis, being like thinking about colors in the sense of what do they mean in fashion, in economics, and I got really mad at the limitations, and I was like, I am just going to make the colors look good. But it's pretty funny when you think about how purple is supposed to be a rich color that It's very expensive to get. A bunch of goblins have them. You know what? Maybe that's why only the rich can afford it, because you have to kill goblins to get them, and that's not easy. Has nothing to do with getting the dye and the limited plant that produces purple dye. It's just straight up dangerous to get purple. And maybe the goblins steal it from the nobles, which is why poor people don't like wearing it. They're like, yeah, you know, I could get purple, but goblins seem to really kill people wearing purple. Don't know why. Don't really want to find out. I got a farm to mow. To plow, that's the word. Don't mow a farm. The Son of a Dungeon campaign, is that what you're talking about? Imperial purple used to made from shellfish until the shellfish began to disappear in the Mediterranean. I'd wear purple, but goblins. The Son of a Dungeon campaign is pretty far along. I think Monday we're going to be starting master exports. Son of a Dungeon is not going on Node, and it doesn't go on Corridor Crew. It's going to be on their Corridor website. And then Jake and I have been discussing about like putting 1 or 2 episodes on the Corridor channel itself. But yeah, it's coming along really well. Got a lot of great art and VFX going into it. That's kind of the bulk of the time that's been spent on it. Like, just learning how to do the VFX, learning what the editing style is supposed to be, making sure all the editors that are on the project know how to edit it the way it's supposed to be edited. So, like, a big thing that hit that slowed down the process was while I was doing functional filmmaking, I had to start editing. Sorry, while I could have been editing Son of a Dungeon, I had to finish editing functional filmmaking. And the reason why I had to be the one who edited the first episode of Son of a Dungeon was I needed to have an example for the other couple editors who are going to be doing a lot of the assistant editing to know kind of what the direction was. But I also, and then also Jake, Sam, and Nico needed to see on a post-production end what to expect. So that took up a lot of time. And now we're doing, and then it took a couple, if not a lot of versions to get to where we are. And revisions. And now we're doing art and VFX. And I'm cleaning up my sound design. I think if we can get a season 2, I have a few ideas on how to speed up post-production to cut maybe the post-production time in half. Which means we can probably do a couple seasons in the same amount of time of doing season 1. Cool, I think we got all the goblins done. Not the whole army, but, you know, half the army. Got that defensive line. It's up. You guys see it. The archers would probably be right here. And then I got a few different swords. Ready to go. And then casters are in the back. Viva La Dirt League? I have not seen. Oh, I understand what they're doing. Yeah, I haven't seen their stuff, but that kind of content is very fun and interesting. Sweet. Like, this alone is a tough fight for 4 level 3 characters, you know? You got pike guard, sword skirmishers, got archers and casters. This is a lot. And then, you know, unfinished painted, we got even more coming up behind them. Just all the gobbies with a king. This is exciting. Oh, wow. I think the, there we go. Whoops. I think your sorcerer would fireball them if they were grouped like that, though. Yeah, that doesn't mean that fireball would kill them. They probably wouldn't be grouped that way. They'd probably be... The casters would probably be 20 feet back. Or 15. The archers would be maybe 5 feet away. But the archers could also be, you know, scattered. Like that. The swords are running around while the pike guard are defending. So yeah, there's a whole mess of strategic ways you can use these guys. Any plans on goblin skulkers, rogue type sneaky goblins? I kind of treat the skirmishers, the swords guys, and the archers as roguish goblins. Mechanically, I'll bring up my classes. Got my DM binder. Let's see. Combat. Where are you? I have not labeled my combat in here yet. There's society. Where's my monsters? There we go. Monsters is where my combat would be. This is gotta get relabeled and reorganized. My dragon page is phenomenal. Yeah, I don't think I've updated my NPC classes in my DM book. Let me bring up the Google Doc. There we go. So skirmishers and archers. So the skirmishers are more like rogue fighters, and archers are more like rogue rangers. The archers can do bonus action hide or hunter's mark. The skirmishers can do bonus action hide and dash. The skirmishers get sneak attack. So all I have to do with my swords guys is set them up right, and they'll be able to do an extra 1d6 damage. But because they're goblins, and under my primer for how I like to run goblins, elf lore, there we go, Goblin and Orc Lore. Goblins get an extra 1d4 damage to larger creatures, because they're furious small creatures. They also, they try not to show weakness in front of their allies. So, if they miss an attack, fail an ability check or saving throw, they gain a bonus equal to the number of allies within 30 feet. Max plus 5. So, goblins are vicious little creatures that I run. Do I really have a poster of a bookcase behind me? Do I? I don't know. It could be real books. You don't know. You just don't know. Petition for a real bookcase? I'd love a real bookcase. If you want to help get me a real bookcase, patreon.com/fablesd20. I ran winged kobolds against a party with a paladin, and they were level 1 paladin, single-handedly killed 9 of them. That's pretty cool, though. Party composition is, we got, that's so many. So in one game there is a rogue mouseling, a druid, a cleric, a warlock, a ranger, and a fighter. And they haven't faced goblins like this yet, and they're still level 3. They've played against normal goblins, and since then I've upgraded my goblins to be more like this. Right. Npc Classes. There we go. Is this for Fables of Refuge? The goblins? No, they're not. They are for... They are for something entirely different. They are for, 1, me. 2, they are for something that's coming up. Something that is a surprise. So, we'll see what how these goblins do in that situation that's coming up. And I think I'm going to just have these 12 for then. And then I'll get to the other 12 soon enough. Let's see, what else do I need to work on? I need to get the mermaids done for the back of the ship. And I need to do more sailors. That's kind of my priority list right now. Okay. Wow, what a stream. I'm super satisfied with this. I'm gonna bring them outside and put a varnish pass on them. Put a varnish pass on the ship. And take a break. Alright everyone, thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out as long as you did. Hope you had a relaxing time, positive time, and please hit that like, subscribe button, you know the stuff, the YouTube stuff. It means a lot. It does. I know a lot of people say that it helps the channels. It does help the channel. It is a lot. If you want to hang out after stream, you can head over to our Discord. The link's down below. If you want to support the channel in a big way, head over to patreon.com/FableC20. The link is also down below. Alright. I'm going to go varnish my paint, as one would say. For you, I want you to have a wonderful day. I want you to say hi to your neighbors. And more importantly, not forget to count your Thaco. Alright everyone. Goodbye, good night, good evening. Bye!